Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome to another Make It Monday. Thanks for joining me, whether you're watching live on Facebook or if you're catching the replay on either Facebook or YouTube. I'm so glad you're joining me. I am Nan Gerlitz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bloomington, Illinois, and I am here to help you connect with your people, whether that's gathering together to craft or you making handmade items to share with your people. It's all about making and deepening those connections. So let's get to it. All right, let's see if I could do this after a week off, right? Thank you so much for understanding that I needed to take last week off for the holidays. I figured if you were anything like me, the night before Christmas Eve was full of last minute prep. So who was going to be tuning in to my live anyway, right? So it was nice to be able to just get the house in order, get the gifts wrapped, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we had plenty of time to do everything. Hello, Penny. So, all right. So first of all, we have Friday night stamping. I am back on top again with these adorable birds. Yay, Linda. Hello. Glad you're here live tonight. And I wanted to point out we've got some new product alerts on Russ's card as well. So this is the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set and super, super pretty. I loved a lot of white space. I like a lot of white space. I know some people don't and some people do, and whatever. But yeah, this new plaid paper is in the new mini catalog that's starting on Tuesday, January 7th. So something to look forward to. And then this particular card is made with a brand new stamp set that's part of sale-a-bration that starts on Tuesday, January 7th as well. And I will explain a little bit more about that for those of you not in the know about sale-a-bration. Before we get crafting though, I wanted to share a few of the handmade cards I got over the holidays. So first up is one from my friend Michelle, who does not make handmade cards. She usually sends out a photo card or just a store-bought card, which is absolutely fine, by the way. The Stamper Man knows not to buy me a store-bought card. None is better than handmade, right? Or not handmade. But anybody else, I am not a snob. I appreciate the fact that you're thinking of me. So, but it was funny because it's just a postcard kind of thing. And I thought, oh, that looks like maybe she put that together. And then when I flipped it over for the greeting, she did mention, hey, aren't you proud of me? I made my own. So that was pretty cute. And then I got, I loved that wreath. I got another beautiful card from a former customer, I guess current customer, and former team member of mine, who I haven't heard from in a few years, actually, and who's doing really well. Those of you that have been around a while will notice the scalloped edge border punch use there. And I cannot remember the name of this stamp set, but she specifically thinks of me when she pulls this out, and she uses it all the time. So I thought that was super, super sweet and absolutely love the card as well. And then we have one from Linda J. Look at all that dimension there with the cool embossing paste. Really love it. Such a pretty, I love this lantern. I'm a lantern freak, so, very cool. And as always, Linda J., I talk about how you are very good at the collage art kind of style, and I do not excel at this, so I always appreciate somebody that does and can just do it really well, and I think you do it really well. And then we have another friend of the show, our friend Penny. Gorgeous dry embossed snowflake card. And again, I love white space. So this was like a really cool class, just a classy kind of card with just happy, wonderful Christmas. That's so sweet. So absolutely loved this. Thank you, Penny. And then the last one I wanted to share with you is not hand stamped. It's not necessarily handcrafted in the way you would think, but my friend Kirsten is an amazing photographer. You're welcome, Linda. Thank you. And this is a shot that Kirsten actually got I think, over this fall. And so she always turns one of her shots into just gorgeous little note cards and things for the holidays. So just, oh my gosh, just the way she captured that hoarfrost on everything. Love it. So this is probably going to get like framed or something because, you know, it's a photograph, right? It's like, it's a piece of art, as are all of our creations. So yes, I love Kirsten's cards. Every year when I see the envelope, I'm like, ooh, what did she do this year? So love it. Okay, on to the main event. Let's talk about these birds for a minute because, you know, we need to sell Penny on them because she's on the fence. So so these birds are actually pretty funny, and I was wondering how much I would do with them, but I do have some other samples at the end of the video, so stick around. That, you know, of other things that you can do with this stamp set, and that was just a couple of them right off the top of my head. So I think we're going to get a lot of use out of this. This is one of the choices during sale-a-bration. I always want to say celebration because they used to call it celebration, but it is sale-a-bration. It runs from January 7th to the end of February, February 28th. It is not a leap year. I cannot show you the inside of this beautiful brochure yet. And Penny, it's free, right? So, you know, how much am I enabling you? But yes, as I'm just saying, sale-a-bration is a great time of year to purchase your everyday Stampin' Supplies, even because for every $60 or $120 you order, you get to pick an item out of this brochure for free, such as the Friendly Seagulls stamp set. So this was a free thing. I did not have to pay for it. I love it. Everybody loves free. So that's what we're going for tonight to start with. And plus, with a new mini catalog coming out on Tuesday as well, there's going to be so much stuff you want. You might as well just, you know, rack up all of the sales, and then you can get free stuff out of the sale-a-bration. And sale-a-bration does not just have stamp sets. There's ribbon, there's embellishments, there's designer papers. I think there's a stamp and die bundle in there. So we will talk after next week's live. We will talk more about that. I can show the inside, but on Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, you can go to my website and see all of the stuff as well. Okay, so let's get started making this pretty simple card. And I wanted to keep this pretty simple. I wanted to show you that you could still make a really wow card with not a lot of stuff. So I started off with just my basics. I've got a thick white base there. I've got a Lost Lagoon layer. Love that. I'm glad I went that too, because I almost went, ooh, like balmy blue or something, and I really like the lagoon. So I've got some crumb cake here, and I'm going to show you that tearing technique. And then for the squares, all I did was I took a ruler and literally took it to my stamp set and went, okay, how big is that? And I just made a square that would fit the biggest bird. And that's what I cut them all at. So, and I was using scraps. I want to point this out. See this little divot right here? This doesn't matter. We're gonna stamp like that bird on it, and it's gonna get covered up, or maybe this bird. So that's a good way to use your scraps. Just cover up all the little edges that aren't going to work, right? So we're going to use our Memento Black ink, Tuxedo Black, because we fancy. All righty, and we need, it's funny, actually, there's 3 different birds, and I had intended to do all 3 of them and accidentally stamped the French fry guy twice, and then I realized that works better with what I was doing anyway. So we got 2 French fries, and he is just so cute. I can't even get over it. Okay, so 2 of these. As always, there is a link in the video description with a full list of supplies, so you know exactly what I've used to make this card, including your basics like a trimmer and the Stampin' Chamois and things like that. And as far as measurements, if you're a seasoned stamper, you can figure that out. But if you want something easier, or if you have questions, make sure you are on my email list, because I do share measurements of all of my Monday Live cards, as well as all of the extra samples, so if I have alternatives, I share the measurements for those as well. And that link is also in the video description to sign up for my email newsletter, which comes out once a week on Wednesday mornings. Look at me, just remembering to tell you guys all of the things today. I have been on a bit of a like a organization craze. I will go over that in a moment. Let me show you this tearing technique. So you can see that I did, I have that jagged edge up there. It's a pretty cool little technique, and it requires these really fancy tools, your fingers. So you're just going to tear the cardstock towards you, and you can like make it, a little, so I made kind of a little sandy edge there, right? We're going to use that in a second. But now I've got this ragged edge, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in just a moment. So we're going to get our crumb cake ink out, or our crumb cake cardstock, because I did not want this part to stand out. I wanted it to be a little more backgroundy, because that's a word. We're going to stamp a couple of shells on there. And then I love this little stamp of like pebbles. So I'll just stamp that kind of randomly around, just to give it a little texture, a little interest. Maybe a little bit up here in the corner. There, so it's just very tone on tone, just to give it a little oomph. But we're not done oomphin' that yet. All right. And the other thing I wanted to do with this, because I wanted it to kind of look like the waves were kind of crashing against, where the sea meets the sand. So I took my white craft stampin' pad. This is the old style, so you can still get it. It's just going to look slightly different. And I just brushed it against that ripped edge that I did. Now, craft ink is a pigment ink, and so it does not dry immediately like our classic stampin' pads. So you're going to want to let that sit for a little while. It's probably not going to be dry when I'm ready to put it together, but that's okay. You can always heat that up with your heat tool, or you can let it, like you could do a bunch of them and then just let them dry for an hour or overnight or whatever while you go do something else. So I'm going to set that aside so I don't get my hands too white. Okay, and then our greeting we need. So that actually is going to be a couple of different stamps. So it says, I love you more than. Then I'm going to do the French fries. That's hey friend, sorry. What do we got here? We got French fries or chips, because it depends if you're, UK or US, right? So I love that they put the chips in there. I think that's pretty cute. And all I did was I lined this right up, so it was kind of flush to the right side. And then I picked them both up together on my block. So then I only have to stamp once. And I decided to go ahead and do this in the black, in the memento. Thanks, Penny. Yeah, I do forget about my craft ink a lot. And when I decide to pull it out, it's like, oh, that works well, Another way to get that effect in a lot more subtle way is with the white watercolor pencil. So I imagine if you had a white crayon in your house, you could probably do that as well. And if you don't have anything, you can just skip that step, and it's not wavy that day. That's okay too. Very calm waters. All right. I think that is all of our stamping. Let me pop this away. I think I have told you all before, when you get your photopolymer stamps like this, they actually come on a heavy kind of acetate sheet. And then there's this thinner one that covers them. But the back of your case has the images printed on there. So you can go ahead and take your stamps off and put them on the case right away. But then I always leave this little covering on there. I save the other acetate sheet, but I leave this one on because we have 2 dogs that shed an awful lot. So I feel like that helps keep the dog hair to a minimum on my stamps. So, and whatever, dust and whatnot comes along. All right, let's do a little bit of coloring. So all I'm using for this is our blends. I've got Daffodil Delight and I've got Crumb Cake. I actually went and looked up seagulls like feet to figure out what color they were, and they're actually more of a pinky orange. And I decided I was not going to pull out another marker set because I was trying to keep this simple. So they have yellow feet. It's an artistic license, I believe is what they call that. So actually we're going to do that last. So, but first I want to color these French fries, but I didn't want them to just be straight yellow, although I am making them a little darker than I made my sample. That's okay. Might as well color his beak while I got this going on. But I'm going to take the Crumb Cake, the dark one, and I'm going to go over that so it'll make them a little more brownish yellow. Those are some dark French fries. Maybe they're like poutine, right? They got gravy on them or something. Let me show you my sample because I think I used the light version of both of those on that. So it's not quite as yellow. It's got a little bit of a brownish tinge to it. Okay. The other thing I did was I took my light Crumb Cake marker and I went around the entire bird aside from his legs on each of these. And that is just to give him a little bit of an outline. So it's not just a straight, black outline kind of thing. You can do the wings too, however you want to do it. I just really wanted them to stand out. It's kind of a little halo effect. I really like it. I've seen so many other people do it. And it's one of those things that I like the look of it. So, when you like something, that's what you do, right? So that is just a really easy way to kind of zhuzh this up a little bit more, right? You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to color them in because they're white. So, but this gives them a nice little halo outline. Also, while I'm doing my coloring, I can let you know that Last Chance products are still available. So if you, got a little extra cash during the holidays and you just itching to spend it on craft supplies, that's a good idea. Some of them are discounted. Many of them are discounted. I will tell you that there's more than 50 of them are already sold out. So if there was anything you had your eye on, I would say as soon as we're done with the video, click the link, hop on over to my website and see if there's anything that you just can't live without. And if there is nothing that you want just now, then maybe wait till Tuesday when the new catalogs come out, right? Okay, so there are our little haloed birds. And then I took my Pretty Peacock because it's just kind of one tone darker than that zhuzh. I don't know how you spell zhuzh. I feel like, I'm half Polish, so I feel like there's got to be probably a DZ in there. It's probably DZ because that's zhuzh. So that's zh. I'll get back to you on it. It's funny because there's that commercial where the guy it's for the AI software and he's, typing on his phone about, oh, this project needs some zhuzhing. And then he presses make it professional and it comes off all really nice. But I always wondered, like, how is he spelling zhuzh? See, I don't know if you noticed when I turned that over to put glue on it, but I had stamping, some other stamping on the back of that. So this truly is using your scraps. So it's a really nice card for that as well. Because we've always got pieces of white laying around, right? Okay, what do we got here? I'm just checking my notes to make sure I share everything with you guys. So yes, we do have the new mini catalog that's coming out on Tuesday as well. Pretty much if you haven't been paying really close attention, you might not have noticed, but Stampin' Up! Pretty much comes out with everything on a Tuesday. So maybe they don't like Mondays either, right? Okay, so for my greeting, I know I have that bee builder punch that the body kind of looks like a talking bubble. Excuse me, I'm a little parched. And I think we have some dies and things that have like the talking bubble thing, but the bee punch was not long enough, and I didn't have anything else. So I decided I could cut my own talking bubble. So I literally just kind of went in and went around, and it did not have to be perfect. Because whatever, it's a talking bubble, right? It's a speech bubble. And you just need a little tip on it. So literally that easy. So don't be afraid to do things like that by yourself. You don't need fancy tools for everything. Okay, we can do a little assembly now. So this is still going to be wet, like I told you. So it's not a big deal. I would not obviously put it like in an envelope yet or hand it to anybody yet. But for me to get my hands a little bit dirty, not a big deal. Because if your hands don't have ink on them, it means you haven't stamped enough that day. So I'm just putting these straight up so that I can get that lined up on the bottom. That way I know they're both even. All right, so did anybody run out of adhesive or envelopes over the holidays? I was pretty proud of myself that I did not run out of envelopes this year, because usually I do, because I am not a pre-planner. But this year, because I had done the craft fair, I had kept ordering envelopes throughout the year to marry with the cards that I was going to sell. And so I had all of those envelopes. So I kept cannibalizing those and ripping them out of there. So I did need like 20 extra or something like that. But I was able to get them from there. Okay. And then I don't want these guys quite lined up. I want them a little off center. But I also don't want to hide his whole foot. And I have to make sure I have enough room. Yes, that'll work out perfectly so that doesn't go over the edge, right? You almost ran out of blue toner in my printer. Oh man. Yeah, because the inside of Penny's was, the greeting was printed. And the cool thing about Penny, now she has a lot of Spanish speaking people in her family. So her cards are always bilingual. So she has her inside greeting printed in English, and then she has it translated into Spanish as well. And I always find that fascinating. So pretty cool. Okay, and then these guys are going to be on dimensionals. So we'll pop that off to the side for a moment. All right, I got another little tip for you if you haven't heard this one yet. If you ever have trouble getting your backings off of your dimensionals, a good way to do it is to just poke your fingernail into the middle, and then what it does is it kind of loosens up that edge, and then it's easier to peel up. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. Trying to separate the cards and knowing just how many to do in Spanish and English. No, I appreciate it. I think it's really cool to receive that and see the Spanish version of it. My problem is, since I took so many years of French, anytime I see Spanish, when I try to speak it, I speak it in French instead. Like, I can't say, things in Spanish without kind of a French accent. So it's kind of funny. Like, nope, I'm sure that's not right. Okay, so I'm only putting 2 dimensionals on this one on the bottom because it is going to sit over that. So I'm going to put a little bit, I guess 3 dimensionals would probably be best. I forgot because this side's hanging over too. Yeah, and so then I just put a dot of glue on the edge here, and that will hold that corner. I don't know why that's sticking in my hand. And then I need a dimensional. You too, Linda? I know. It's a problem because like Spanish and French and Italian are so close that if you're learning, if you've learned kind of one, I think it's hard to get that one out of your head when you go to do any of the others. All right, again, I'm only going to put the 1 dimensional on there. We'll put a little dab of glue on the point. And voila, no bling, no Winkastella, no nothing. It's just fun. It's just a great layout that you could do with a lot of different things. So anytime you have stamps that are, smaller, like 1.5 inch maybe, that'd be really good. Oh, thanks, Lucia. Yes, that time of year, you just forget what day it is, what time it is. I actually, Lucia, checked to see if you were live, I don't know, I guess yesterday where you are now, but I checked to see if you'd gone live Monday on my lunch hour because I wasn't sure. Okay, so I did say that I have a couple of other samples here for this stamp set. So same kind of idea with the ripped crumb cake and the lagoon and everything. I did those little birds, but this time I just stamped him right on there, and I used our watercolor pencils in white and I think Calypso Coral to fill in his color. So again, a really super simple card as far as making it, and not a lot of supplies needed, but a super cute little effect with the watercolor pencils. All right. And then something completely different involving no birds at all. This is, so I took that crumb cake still because I wanted kind of a beachy vibe. And I did the seashells on it, but then I took some soft sea foam and stamped those little fishies. So I just kind of made my own 2 background papers. And then I grabbed my Love and Strength stamp set because I love this saying that it's okay if all you did today was breathe, and just a little thing there. So it's a very soft card to just, send to whoever needs it, right? And then over here, it's a little shiny still. That's that enamel metallic elements. And all I did was I put a little line there, and then I took kind of a paintbrush and just painted it on the edge to give that a little bit of definition. So there you go. So a completely no seagull card. That is a great sentiment, isn't it, Lucia? I just love it. And I love the hey friend as well. And this guy just looks like he's yelling at it. Hey friend. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, so Penny, what's the verdict? Do we need this stamp set? I think we need the stamp set. Oh. Yeah, seriously, Penny, if you're sending a card to Lucia, it takes forever because, it's apparently going by a slow boat to Australia. I will say, Lucia, I did not send you a Christmas card this year. Sorry. So, because I knew that I was getting them out so late that there's no way you'd get it even near Christmas. So, Penny, yes. Next order. It's free though. So, just stock up on adhesive or something. Oh, Well, yes, Penny, you and I both mailed ours on the 22nd. So, oh, too funny. All right, let me switch my camera here because I wanted to chat about a little something I'm doing different in 2025. And that is I'm finally getting my act together and I have a plan. So, no international cards from you either. Well, good. Then I don't feel bad. um, my plan for 2025 is that each month on these lives, I will have a little something different for you, or each week of the month. So in the beginning of the month, we will start with a simple card, kind of like today's. So next week it'll be simple again. Then the next week, we're going to introduce a sketch and teach you all how to deal with sketches and give you a new one every month so you have something to work with. The next week will be a technique of some sort. Might be something really simple. It might be something more advanced, but hopefully you'll learn a little something from that. And then the final week, we will finish off with either a 3D project or a fun fold card. So it's, if you kind of notice, it gets progressively a little more advanced as the month goes on. So that's going to be I hope, a nice way to introduce everybody. And if you're looking for something simpler or something more advanced, you know where to prioritize your viewing. So, but of course, I want you to join me every week. So, but this will help me have more of a plan on what to do, and hopefully it'll help you just learn a little something extra, because I never know where to throw those 3D things in or those fun folds. So now I know the fourth week. All righty. Well, good. I'm glad you guys are liking the plan. Definitely let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like to see technique-wise or anything like that. And I will work it into one of the weeks. So, all right. That's all I've got for you tonight. Thanks so much for joining me. If you've picked up any inspiration or tips, I'd love it if you'd share the videos so that your friends and family can learn a little something too. Until next week, I'm still Nan Gerlitz. Happy stamping.